Today, let's talk about email. If you haven't already started email, you really need to. It's kind of like that old proverb. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So if you don't have an email list, you really need to make sure that you do. Email is a very powerful audience building and marketing tool. And it is a really efficient way to make sure that people are actually getting to your products, to your content, all of those things. If you want to sell things, you really need an email list because it is so powerful and really it makes a huge difference. I was reading online that an email list has an ROI, so a return on investment of $36. So for every $1 you put into it, you're gonna make on average about $36 from it, which is a huge return on investment. And if you're not currently using money, because you can get started for free, you can use your time, and it also has a huge time investment. One thing that I have loved, well, there's a lot of things I love about email. First of all, I love that it's very personal, like it goes straight to someone's inbox. I don't have to deal with algorithms. Secondly, I love that it is something that you can send like on repeat and people get very used to. Third, people always seem to be ready to buy when they're in their email. I don't know about y'all, but like when I go to my email, it's like Lily Pulitzer sales and stuff like that. And so like it's very normal to have things in your email that you are purchasing, which means it doesn't feel weird like how on Instagram, you know, I'm just here to like have a good time, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, you should buy this, and I'm like, I don't know about that. So it's just like an organic way to do that. And I love that it gives me so much control over my business because I can send people places. I can send them to my blog posts, I can send them to my products, I can send them to things off of TBT. If you ever need to sell something that's not on TBT, you can do that too. And like there's just so many options with your email list. The other thing I love about email is that it really helps create that on-demand traffic to my resources. And if I need, you know, if I'm like, man, I really need some money, I can send an email and will come. So highly recommend an email list if you haven't gotten started. If you want some help getting started, click the link down below. It's a like free oh my gosh, my words. This is what happens when I film too many videos at one time. Free getting started guide down below, and it goes through like the things you need to get started with your email. If you already have an email, then you can grab the free welcome sequence. So these are like the first few emails that you send your people to help to create an audience, build that connection, as well as to start selling something, because I believe in selling things pretty upfront so that people know that they can expect that when they come. So today we're talking email, but specifically we're going through some of the questions that y'all have had. I asked on Instagram for different email questions, and these are some of them. I'm not going through all of them because some of them were very vague, and so some of them are just not as good as actual questions to answer in a short form here. Some of them are whole videos and different things like that, and some of them are the basis of the email course. So story time. At the beginning of this year, I was like going through all the things I want to do this year. I was like, I am not making a course this year. Last year, I made the back to school course for TBT sellers, and I made my centers course, which was massive for music teachers. The year before that, I made the back to school course for music teachers. Was that the blogging course too, or was that the year before? I don't know. I've made a lot of courses in the last couple of years, and this year I was like, I am not making another course. They can buy things I already have. Like, I am not doing it. It's not happening. And then I got worn down because I had person after person after person ask me if I could make an email course. So I'm making an email course after I answer this phone call. Hang on. I thought it was the call I was waiting on, but it was not. It was the loan people. Not like trying to get my loan, but like the spam people who are like, oh, let me offer you a loan. And I'm like, I don't want a loan. Also, I don't know how they got my phone number, but they have been killing me. So if anyone knows a way to like get spam marketing people to stop calling you, please hit me up because it is driving me bonkers. Whew. Anyway, I was not planning to make any courses this year, but a lot of people have asked for an email course. I've shared over and over how great email can be, especially with not that many people on your email. Like, you really don't need that many people on your email to make a difference. You do need some people, but you don't need, you know, hundreds of thousands of people to really make a difference and make serious money. And so here we are making a course. I have been suckered into it, so it's gonna be good. I'm excited. I'm happy to share the knowledge, but they're a lot of work. So I'm hoping to knock it out and spend the rest of the summer at the pool. That's not true, but it's fine. All right, so some of these are very vague. So let's talk about oak roots and arrows. TBT said getting people on the list. So my actual question was, what is your biggest problem with email? Getting people on the list. Homeschooling, I can't read the whole thing. Homeschooling without something says gaining subscribers. The sweet and sassy teacher says not sure how to get leads organically. So when you create your email list, you have to create an opt-in or a like lead magnet, or sorry, you have to create a landing page. That is the page that people go to in order to actually like put in their email and be like, hey, send me emails. Okay, you get that link and you go put that everywhere. But then you got to get people to click on it. So there's a lot of different ways. There's actually going to be a whole video coming out soon that is about like different ways that you can get people onto your email list, but they're not going to magically appear. So you have to actively get people to go there. So first of all, you want to give them something when they join. So some kind of freebie that you can send them after they join your email list to entice them to join, because you don't want to be like, hey, let me send you more emails, but you want to be like, hey, let me send you this thing that you're gonna love, and then I'll send you some emails too, you know. And so having that freebie is step number one, and make it really good. My best suggestion, I have a lot of freebies because I've been at this for a long time, and my best freebie is my centers ideas list. And the reason it is the best, not because you should go make a centers ideas list. I'm getting to that point where like when I say things like that, people are like, oh, well, let me go do that. I'm not saying this as, hey, go make that, because I already made it. Okay, please don't steal this up. But what I am saying is the reason it was helpful is because it is very general and it's about something I talk about a lot. And so I find that I can constantly link my centers freebie or my centers freebie because I talk about centers a lot, and so it's very normal. I have a lot of content that talks about it, so it's general enough that I can talk about it a lot and plug it into a lot of things. If you have a really specific freebie, so I have another freebie because I have a lot of freebies because I've been at this a long time. I have a freebie that I actually just made. It's songs about frogs, and it's 4 songs on Google Slides that are all folk songs about frogs, and it's really fun and it's cute and it's not that versatile, you know. Like when I'm talking about centers, I can't talk about songs about frogs. When I'm talking about 16 notes, I'm not talking about songs about frogs. When I'm talking about older kid stuff, I can't talk about my songs about frogs because they're for little kids. And so like it's not as versatile, and so I have a harder time linking that one. So my suggestion would be to come up with something that is a really good freebie that is versatile enough that you can link it a lot and you can talk about it a lot, and it's really, really good. So a guide would be good. A, you know, list would be good. A template would be great. You know, like a lesson planning template might be a good thing, or a Google Slides template or something like that would be really good. But something that's general enough you can talk about it a lot is going to be your main thing. Then you need to talk about it a lot. So if you have social media, if you have content, you need to be making content that mentions it specifically. So I have a blog post that's called 4 songs about frogs, and in the blog post I'm like, hey, get this free Google Slides lesson, songs about frogs. Okay. I also have a different one that talks about one of the songs about frogs, and so like I can go through and I can make different things that go with my songs about frogs. and I can link them. But have multiple pieces of content that's main purpose is to get people onto your email list. Okay? Okay. Now, if you don't have a blog and you don't have a YouTube channel and you don't have a podcast and you don't have social media and you don't have anything, your options are really slim. You can put the link in your product and you will get some people from that, but you're not gonna get a lot, so don't stress about it. But the more you can talk about it, the more you can mention it, the more you can use your content platform. Like, these all work together, which is the hardest part, is because it's like you need all the things, but you can't do all the things like all the time because that's really stressful. But you really, like, y'all, your business should be, this is my vision for your business. I envision it like a, this gonna sound so weird, like a Greek temple, like no walls, just like the roof, and the roof is your business, and holding up the roof of your business is the pillars. Okay, just bear with me. Like a pavilion. It's a pavilion is your business. And the pillars are the things holding it up. And your pillars are your products, your email list, your content, and your social media. And you need all four. Really, truly, you need all four. You don't need all four today, but eventually that's what you need to work up to. And when you have all four of those things, then your pavilion stands really nicely. It can stand the test of time. People can still tour it thousands of years later. But if you don't have all of those things, your business is going to be lacking in some way all of the time. And so if you have an email list, you have to be able to get people on it. So if you don't have social media, or you don't have content, you need at least one of those so that you can funnel people onto your email list, okay? Now, on my blog posts, because that's my favorite content platform, I do have a YouTube channel for my business. My blog does better. I'm just saying, I need to go let the dog in because Nyla's like, oh, it's summer and you're home now. I need to go outside 24/7. But then she gets really mad if I leave her out too long. She's the only one who knows how long too long is. So this is what we're dealing with. Yeah, was that great? Okay. So then she'll just bark until I can let her in. I suggested that we get her a set of bells to put on the door, which might work. Okay. We have not bought a set of bells. Okay. So you need to be able to talk about it. So on my blogs, I link in every single blog post to my email list. I do an intro and then I have a little blurb that's like, hey, if you want free stuff, come join the email list. And it goes in every single blog post. And I do that on purpose so that I am able to promote it and get people onto the email list. Okay? So you gotta get people on the list by sending as much traffic as you can. We'll have a video about that, but those are kind of like the short versions. Zoe asked how to promote your email list without being salesy. So when you are promoting your email list, it might sound a little salesy because you'll be like, hey, join the email list. But if you have something to give them that's really good that they're gonna want, then it's not being salesy, it's just being helpful. Hey, I have this really awesome Google Slides lesson that's about all the songs about frogs, and you can go get it and it'll take care of your lesson plans for a week or maybe even 2. And so like you can come at it as how it's gonna benefit them. Don't come at it as being like, hey, I wanna send you some emails. No. Come at it as, what are you gonna do for them? Are you going to send them helpful ideas every single week? Are you gonna send them new games? Are you gonna send them lesson ideas? Like, what are you sending them that's gonna make it amazing? That's what you need to focus on. How it helps them and how it helps you. Sprinkles or Sunshine said, do you know if it's true that Google is flagging free email accounts like Gmail and Yahoo as spam? So what this is referring to is Google recently did change some stuff, and they came out and said, hey, if you have like a mass market email that you're sending to lots of people, but it's from a Gmail account instead of like from beccasmusicgroup.com, it's not going to be filtered the same way. I will say that for a long time after they announced that, I was still not able to get my stuff figured out. And I have still had tons and tons of people reading my emails. So it's not a full thing. even before I got it fixed. Like, it was after they said they were gonna flag them as spam before I started fixing that and having it come from my website, it was still okay. So I didn't notice an open rate dropping at all, but I don't know, maybe I just didn't notice, which is also pretty good. Next question. So writing emails, I'm not very good at the storytelling part. If you're not good at the storytelling part, do try to get better. But if you're not good at the storytelling part, you don't have to tell stories. Like, it's okay. I would suggest telling stories in your emails because it's going to make them more interesting. But at the very least, you at least just need to talk about things. One thing that I have found helpful, I read the book Storyworthy, highly recommend if that's something you're working on. But in there, he does this thing called Homework for Life. And so I do mine in the app called Day One, and it's where you're supposed to do it every day. I don't do it every day. But every day you're supposed to like write down a little story of something that it's like the most story-worthy part of your day. I am not great at doing it every day, but I do try to do it when I remember so that I can then go back and remember. Because then, like, I can see 2 things about jazz. So if I need something if I'm saying something about jazz, I can, you know, search, which is why I did it on this app because it has a search bar. I can search for jazz and I have 2 things right there. If I'm talking about dancing, I can share, I see 2 stories about May Day right here. And so I can talk about those dances with May Day. This was hilarious. My 3rd graders did May Day, which is like a big thing for our county. We all go and they all perform like dances around the maypole and like weave maypole like witches, but whatever. I did not come up with it. I inherited it. And so when one of my groups was learning the maypole dance, which is where you have the pole with the ribbons coming off and they have to weave the maypole. And so the beginning part of the dance is called promenade position, where you're standing with your partner and holding hands. And so we were at field day and we were playing this game where they have to like pass a hula hoop by holding hands, and one of the kids goes, "Guys, it's as simple as promenade position." I just thought it was so funny. So that made my homework for life. I need to get better at doing that. But that's one way that you can get stories to tell. You know, and you can use movies you've watched, you can use books you've read. Like, don't overthink it. And if you don't have a story, then don't have a story. I have emails that I send that don't have stories in them because I don't have anything to talk about. And that's fine too. Just write the email. Okay? And if you have something to hook them in, it's better to write the email and not have it like perfect than it is to just not write it. Okay? All right. Next question. The cost of having an email. You can get started for free. Done. Check. I'm only getting subscribers if I'm doing paid ads. Is this normal? I've never done paid ads, so I can't tell you that it's normal because I don't have paid ads and I do have people on my email list. But the thing about ads is that when you turn on an ad, it makes your whatever blog post, media post, whatever, it gets more views on it, which means you're going to get more people on your email list because there's more views on your opt-in. If you have less views on your opt-in, you're going to get less people who join. So if you don't have very many views on your opt-in, then yeah, you're probably only going to have people who join when you turn the ads on. So there's that. Let's see. How to get it out to parents and teachers. Gotta get them on there. You gotta create that content, friends. You just have to. Getting conversions. You gotta get people to read your. So conversions would be people going from your email list to your products. First of all, remember conversion rates are typically very low, so less than 10% is normal. That's one. 2, if you have less than 10% of people going over there, if you only have 10 people who go to your product from your email list, you're probably not going to get a very high conversion rate. You're probably not going to get that many people who click because not many people are clicking on it. So you have to have people on your email list. You have to get those people to click. And the way you do that is honestly providing value over and over again. Like if you can provide people with valuable information every single week, they're gonna want to click on things and they're gonna be like, great, I want more, give me more. So that would be the first thing. I also, even if I don't mention a product, which I don't always mention a product, I always have them click on something. So click here to go read this blog post that's about this, you know, click here to go see this, click here to go see that, just so they're getting used to like, oh, I read this and then I click on something, and that is helpful too. We're gonna go way into that with the email course, so stay tuned if that is your problem. We're also gonna go into geometry and jokes problem, which is what do you say every single week. We're gonna have a whole thing about what we're gonna talk about. But basically my best suggestion is to pick like a topic for each month that you can send. And so, you know, this month we're talking about classroom management. Then all you gotta come up with is 4 things about classroom management. You can base this off of new products that you're posting. You can base this off of the content you're creating, but just have something to kind of theme it for you so that you have an easier time doing it. One thing I've done with my Becca's Bible class is I've started usually like 2 weeks out of the month. I just send something we did that week. I'm like, hey, this week we played this fun game. Here's how to play it. And that's it. And then next week, maybe I'll send something that goes to a piece of content, or maybe I'll send something that goes to a product. But for the other weeks, I'm like, hey, here's something fun we did. And that really helps because it's like top of mind for me because I just did it. And so that's really helpful for me too. So you can get really creative with it. Don't stress about it. But we'll talk all about the ideas. And I really think the biggest thing is being organized about it is going to be the most helpful thing. All right, and I think the last question that we have for today is how to manage multiple tags and scheduling what to send when. For scheduling, I would pick certain days that you're going to post and do it from there. And we are going to talk again. We'll talk about content calendars. We'll talk about how to like make things look good so that you're not being super salesy all at the same time and stuff like that. And managing multiple tags, honestly, I use my tags mostly just to send people things that are specific to them. So most of my stuff still goes to my whole list. A tag is like a segment of your audience. So most of my stuff goes to my whole list, and then I will send something to people who are tagged to something sometimes. Honestly, it's mostly for me so that I can look and be like, oh, these people came from here, these people came from here. But tagging is really helpful. So especially if you have like people who are tagged as like upper grades versus lower grades, you can send just stuff to one or the other, or you can tailor it and stuff like that. But if it's stressing you out, you can just send everybody the same thing. It's fine. Okay. All right, so that is some just real quick talk about email and how to make your email happen, make it better. And so I hope that was helpful. If you want to join that email list, here's the deal with the email course. It is going to be on pre-sale, which means right now you can purchase it today, June 2nd. You can purchase it. I should have posted this last week. Maybe I'll post it early. You can purchase the email course today, but it is not available until Tuesday, June 4th. On Tuesday, June 4th, the pre-sale price is going away. The email course is closing until it is all the way through. So you can get the early bird special right now. On Tuesday, it will close. You will not be able to join. My people who joined as the early birds are going to get a module each week until you have everything. So it'll just be a little bit at a time until you have everything done. Once everything is done in the fall, it will reopen and will probably stay open. They do better if you like open and shut, but it's too much for me. So I will probably leave it open and you'll be able to purchase it from there. It will be cheaper if you buy it now at the early bird price than if you wait and purchase it later. So just FYI. You also will get access forever. So if you join now at the pre-sale price, but you can't do it now, that's fine. You can do it later, but you'll already have that access because you already paid for it. I'm like one and done, you get it forever. So join now if you're interested. make sure you get it at that early bird special price before it closes and before that price goes away, because you want to make sure that you get in there and get all the stuff, and content will be available starting on June 4th. So I better get to filming. Okay, I will link that stuff down below in the description, and I'll see you later. Bye.